Friday morning, gleaning support from gains in the Chicago soy complex and European rapeseed. The May canola contract rises $13.80 at $749 per ton, and the July contract adds $14 at $732.20 per ton. The increases are despite declines in global crude oil prices that are putting pressure on the vegetable oils, including losses in Malaysian palm oil. Crush margins are taking a hit, with most positions falling below $200 per ton. However, the margins remain quite wide and are still supportive of canola. The Canadian Grain Commission reports producer deliveries of canola for the week ending March 19th are nearly 365,000 tons, down 19% from last week. Canola exports slipped 4% at 189,000 tons, and domestic use falls more than 8% at 199,000 tons. With a surge in the United States dollar, the Canadian dollar is weaker this morning. The loonie falls to 72.62 U.S. cents compared to Thursday's close of 73.15. The U.S. Department of Agriculture reports a flash sale of 204,000 tons of current crop corn to China. A week from today, the USDA will release its prospective plantings and quarterly grain stocks reports. ABIOV is upping its call on the Brazil soybean harvest, raising it to 153.6 million tons. ABIOV pegs Brazil soybean exports at 92.3 million tons, with a sizable amount now heading to crushers in Argentina. Meanwhile, the markets in Argentina are closed today for a holiday. Rounding off prices at the Chicago Board of Trade, soybean futures are higher on Friday morning. The May contract is up 6 cents at $14.26 per bushel. May soy oil jumps 1.39 cents at 53.56 U.S. cents per pound. May soy meal tacks on $3.40 at $441.70 per short ton. Corn futures are stronger, with the May contract rising 11 cents at $6.43 per bushel. Chicago oats are higher, with its May contract adding 6 cents at $3.68. The U.S. wheat complex is surging as Chicago May vaults 33 cents at $6.95. Kansas City May jumps 34 cents at $8.53.5. And Minneapolis May advances 21.5 cents at $8.63. That's a look at the ICE futures and the Chicago markets for Friday morning, March 24th. For MarketsFarm.com in Winnipeg, I'm Glenn Halleck.
See more and do more in a new 300 Series compact track loader from New Holland. Its industry-leading 360-degree visibility is truly something to see at Butler Farm Equipment. With its reverse camera and 8-inch multifunction LCD display, super boom lift technology, rock-solid stability, and redesigned controls, you'll work with greater speed, safety, and precision. Maximum productivity starts with a clear view. Stop by Butler Farm Equipment in Fort St. John today and see how a new 300 Series compact track loader helps you do more.
The opinions expressed during this show do not represent those of this station. If you've missed any of this show, you can follow the podcast at Energeticcity.ca. Now, an in-depth look at the news and information shaping our community. This is Moose Talks with your host, Doug Craig, on Moose FM.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. A little later on, we're going to be chatting with Fivestar Boxing Academy owner Justin Donally. I thought this was the first time I'd met him, but he says way before the COVID times we actually had an interview. Anyway, they've had their first bouts of the season already last weekend in Grand Prairie, and they're getting busy preparing for the Fivestar Fight League event coming up next month. So we'll talk about all that and more. But first, local Sikhs are holding a protest this weekend against ongoing human rights violations and abuses in India. And Energeticcity.ca reporter Manavpreet Singh wrote an article this week discussing the situation and why the locals are protesting. So to chat a bit about that article and more, we're joined now by Manavpreet Singh. Manavpreet, welcome to Moose Talks.
Thank you very much, Doug, for having me.
So I know this is a very complex situation that's unfolding in Punjab in northern India. If you can, try and break down for us exactly what's going on right now for people who maybe have no idea.
Yes. So basically this whole mega crackdown is against Bhai Amritpal Singh. Mm-hmm. He's a Sikh activist. He's been active on social media for almost 10 years, but he was based in Dubai. So he came to Punjab last year. So it's been a year he's in India.
Yeah.
So what his organization and his goal was to, aware Sikh community about the injustices happening in India. And also there is a huge population of Sikh community that are involved in drugs. And what he's trying to do is, and his whole organization is, to bring them back into Sikh faith. And he's been doing it for a year. And suddenly, without any legal notice against him, this whole mega crackdown is to capture him. And still, according to Indian media and also Indian legal authorities, there is no legal case registered against him. Again, I'm repeating this word because it's against constitutional and Indian law making. So there is nothing yet. And according to sources, he's on the run, and they still haven't caught him. And this whole notion of unsettling internet has been shut down. Even myself, I'm not able to connect with my family, and I think the whole local Sikhs, especially in Fort St. John and living in Canada, almost, I guess, 750,000 according to CBC. So we are all basically right now in a shock and panic situation.
Yeah, because as I understand it, the mobile internet has been shut down by the government under the guise, at least, that they need to keep, essentially from inflaming tensions, which of course it is inflaming tensions in doing so, again, under the guise of finding Amrit Paul, which is what they're doing, right?
Yes.
And you kind of mentioned, you had said he's a preacher and he's trying to bring Sikh people back to the Sikh faith. But there's something to do with also more about, can we maybe bring I feel like I'm phrasing this incorrectly, but a homeland sort of aspect to it, right?
No, definitely. It's important you bring this issue because, essentially, Sikhs and Amritpal Singh, he's a huge advocate of Khalistan.
Yeah.
And again, Indian constitution allows Sikhs to, peacefully protest and to peacefully ask for their homeland. Again, he's not violating any legal, laws in India. Indian government and constitution and Indian legal bodies allow Sikhs to have their, say what they want or not. And he is basically publicly just asking for that. And again, peacefully. Nothing violent has happened in the last year in Punjab from Amritpal and his organization. Again, I'm quoting Indian media and Indian legal authority bodies. So yes, he is advocating for Khalistan, and that's what you're right. I think that's where the problem is. That's where the conflict is. And suddenly now Indian agencies or government realize that people are connected with him, and it's a huge movement becoming in, and they don't want it, I guess. Yes.
And again, as part of it, as you said, there's been a crackdown in sort of disabling mobile internet services. You and other local Sikhs in the community here in Fort St. John have been out of contact with their family in Punjab for, it's getting close to a week and a half now, something like that.
Almost 10 days, I guess.
You can't phone, you can't text, email.
Again, from last 2 days, some places in Punjab have got their internet back, but not all. Again, it's still the areas where Amritpal belongs to. That area is still shut down, and mostly there is a huge population from that area in Fort St. John, as I've met a lot of people from Amritsar and where he is from. So it's been I think huge, and especially for international students coming from Punjab. They're already, without their parents and struggling, and then now they can't even send the money or, help their families in any sort of way, because even if they're sending money to their parents, it's been connected to this whole Khalistan money, huge notion of misinformation, being put on the board.
I know in the article you talked to, I think some locals, including I think a student or two at NLC, and you've already brought this up. I mean, you have a personal connection too, because you also haven't been able to contact your family. First of all, have you, since we chatted about this yesterday, have you been able to make contact with your family?
I mean, not directly with my parents, but from like other family members who I have told you that some areas has got internet back. They have told me everything is fine, but not directly with my family, not yet.
I see. So they've said your parents are fine and everything?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And, what, if you can, what are the family members and the friends you've been able to talk to kind of saying about the situation? They just didn't have internet, and now they do, and that seems to be all there is at the moment?
Situation, the worry part they are all seeing is it's been huge deployment of police and army. And it's a constant fear for them as well. Obviously, for us being outside Punjab, it definitely is. But they are under siege as well.
Yeah.
Everybody is under siege because every little movement is being monitored by government. Even right now, as we were discussing yesterday, pre-colonial law allows Indian authorities, if there are more than 3 people, especially Sikh people, they can catch them. So they can put them into jail. And that's what is happening. NSA, National Securities Act has been evoked. So it's been basically they have no legal case against Amritpal Singh, but they want to, portray a certain violation of human rights here. So they are just cracking it down. So that's why they're calling it mega crackdown.
Yeah.
So that's huge. And in Punjab, the situation as it's tough. Everybody, because there's been reports that 1,500 Sikhs have already been captured by police, and their families are struggling. Some of them have little daughters and boys, and families being tortured, their wives being tortured. So, but it's pretty tense situation right now.
I'll say frightening. So this all leads up to the fact that the local temple, if I can use that word, they're planning a protest on, I believe, Sunday. Can you tell us a bit about
Saturday,
that?
yes.
Saturday, my
actually,
apologies.
it's not really Fort St. John Sikh Gurdwara Sahib.
Gotcha.
Mostly there is Sikh activists, we can say, the people who are from Punjab, but they are also very aware of the politics in Punjab. And they personally want to make an effort, and they approached me and they said we should do something, and that's why they are doing it. It's not Sikh Gurdwara Sahib, but I guess Gurdwara Sahib is in support of this whole, and yes, they are all supporting. So basically, Sikh bodies all over Fort St. John have urged, to do something to raise awareness, especially, and to bring communities of Fort St. John at one place to just make sure they know what's happening in Punjab and how we can create awareness and raise human rights issues happening in Punjab.
Okay. When is that's happening tomorrow? Do you know what time?
Yes,
and
it's
where?
happening tomorrow, 12 p.m., North Peace Cultural Center, outside North Peace Cultural Center, and everybody is welcome. Everybody, and so we Sikh bodies urge everyone to be there and just, support them, and it'll be a huge, I guess, for all Sikhs, especially living in Fort St. John.
If someone listening to this is saying, I want to help somehow, and I'm not from Punjab or India, is there something we can be doing? Can we be sending letters to the government of Canada? And
yes,
like
I think that will be a great help, because Jagmeet Singh, NDP leader, he's been very vocal about it, but we haven't heard anything from Justin Trudeau or any major political leader.
Yeah.
If we can arrange, if we can do something with that, and wherever we have any platform like social media, if somebody can raise awareness, I mean, that'll be a huge impact, because all communities are, putting pressure on the government. I think that'll be a big boost for Sikhs, and especially what's happening in Punjab.
Okay. All right. Again, the protest is happening tomorrow. Wow. What time and where? Sorry?
12 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday noon, at outside North Peace Cultural Center.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
So right downtown.
Yes.
Here. Okay, good to know. Again, you can read the article and more information now from Manavpreet over at Energeticcity.ca. It's quite a wonderful article about a very tense and sort of unfortunate situation unfolding. I appreciate you coming and taking a few minutes to tell us about it, and for sharing your kind of personal connection to this. So thank you, Manavpreet.
Thank you very much, Dub. Thank you.
You're very welcome. That's Manavpreet Singh, again, a reporter with Energeticcity.ca. We'll be right back to talk with Justin Donally from Fivestar Boxing Academy right after this on Moose Talks. Get rid of all that road grime and salt this winter with Mick Suds Truck and Car Wash. With their 8-function wash bays and indoor vacuums, you won't have to spend any time out in the cold. Plus, the Mick Suds storefront is loaded with detailing supplies, air fresheners, and some winter necessities like lock de-icer and winter window wash. Keep your vehicle nice and clean this winter with Mick Suds Truck and Car Wash on Alaska Road next to McDonald's. The one to get her done, Mick Suds Truck and Car Wash.
When you hear the term summer fun, you think about pools, beaches, and all kinds of outdoor activities. But this summer, you can have some fun indoors too, with help from Veronica's Closet. Stop in and see Veronica's selection of couples wee vibes, fleshlights for men, board games, and massage candles, which are never hot enough to burn your skin. Plus new designer tanning and skin lotion, beautiful new bodysuits, wigs, and more. Veronica's Closet, your all grown up store on 93rd Avenue.
Feeling lucky? Play Brad's Furniture and Appliances Hit the Lucky Mark every weekday from 5:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Guess the number from 1 to 100. And if you hit the lucky mark, you could win cold, hard cash. Hit the Lucky Mark with Brad's Furniture and Appliances is supported by Bronze Flooring, The Flower Hut, Rip Shoe Renew, Mighty Peace Brewing, CETA, and Westland Insurance. Keep track of the unlucky numbers and find out more at moosefm.ca.
When you have information about a crime, you may hesitate to come forward. You don't have to. You can still give information without revealing your identity. Crime Stoppers tips are helping police track down criminals by harnessing the power of the electronic age. Go to crimestoppersfsj.ca and click on web tips to submit a tip online. To continue to submit information on that crime, just type your optional password, linking your follow-up information to your original info. Crime Stoppers does not trace the origin of the tip. Crime Stoppers, a community working together to help police solve crime.
Watch this show live on Facebook or download the podcast at Energeticcity.ca.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Dub Craig. Now we're here to talk all about boxing. And the Fivestar Academy Boxing is actually celebrating a big milestone this year. They've had their first event of the year already in Grand Prairie, and they've got their first locally hosted event of this year coming up next week. Or next month, I should say. To talk all about that and more, we're joined now by Fivestar Boxing Academy owner Justin Donally. Justin, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for being here. So let's talk a bit about the event that was in Grand Prairie last weekend. How did that go for you guys?
It went really good. We've had a little bit of an inactive year. Our boxing season is kind of September to May. Mm-hmm. So for me, this year has been, actually the last couple of years, been kind of a rebuilding time. A lot of my older guys have kind of moved on to other life things, so I've been bringing up some new kids, and of course I still have some adults, some veteran guys, but for the most part we got a lot of young guys and new guys, and so instead of being super active on the road this year, just been putting in a lot of gym time. So some of these newer guys, I just really wanted to get them in front of a crowd and shake some nerves out here in Grand Prairie. It was nice and close to home, so I ended up with putting 8 fighters on the card, and we had everything from, we ended up with some exhibitions, some fights, kind of went all over the map with it. We ended up going 3-3 in the official matches, which is, for me, I like to win, so and I don't ever put my fighters in usually too early. But the fights that we lost were extremely close. 2 of them are split decisions. Could have easily went either way. So I was really happy with that. And then the rest of the guys got some much needed ring time that. Especially these new guys that haven't fought before in front of a crowd, before you walk out in front of 500-600 people at the home show with all the lights and the screaming people, it's important for me to get them in front of a crowd. So.
Yeah, I guess that's a whole other element that you can't really train for, right? Because even though you got your buddies and the other kind of members of the gym watching you take fights, it's a whole different atmosphere, I suppose, when it's actually the show, hey? It
is, and nerves and anxiety and all those things play into it. At the end of the day, it's not like other sports. You're in a fist fight with somebody at the end of the day. So as much as it's a sport, it's boxing, but when you got somebody out there trying to punch you in the face, it's a lot of nerves. So yeah, I like to work that out for them guys before they fight at home, because my shows are fairly large and very high energy, so best to get those nerves out a little bit before
you're in front of, I guess, your family and friends and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What was what would you say was the good stuff you saw from everybody this past weekend that you were really kind of happy to see?
Well, just everybody performed, and for me as a coach, putting these guys in there prematurely is not something I generally do. And there was a couple guys that I would have rather seen have a few more months under their belt, but like I said, an opportunity to fight close to home before our home show was important. So for me, just the performances of every guy, they performed completely professional. They listened in the corner. They stayed calm. The guys, I talk a little bit about Eddie Scarfo. He's an open fighter. He's going to go to Western Canadian Championships here in May, the weekend after our fight card. So really getting Eddie in there against a really tough opponent. He fought two-time provincial champion, another guy that's going to nationals this year, and he lost a close split decision. And Eddie hasn't been in the ring since Western Canadians last year. So he's graduating this year, and he's had a busy year with college, or getting ready for college. So having him in the ring and shaking some of those nerves off for him even, was important, and he performed very well. We've seen a couple things we need to work on in the next 5 weeks until our fight card, and 6 weeks to Western Canadians. We got some good things to work with. So
yeah, would you say that's sort of kind of the next thing then, is just getting at least the Sikhs who did fight, just more fights in front of crowds and that sort of thing, that's kind of the next step for that kind of group, at least?
Yeah, and on a typical year, we'd be at 6, 7, 8 fight cards throughout the course of September to April, May. Again, this year we've been rebuilding, and for me it was more important to get these guys more gym time and focus on their skills. So yeah, it's not like other years where we're traveling every other weekend, which, to be honest with you, has been kind of nice for me. It gets tiring.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so the season essentially will be wrapping up in the next month or two, and then summertime training and whatnot, and then you start again in the fall.
Yeah, and then hopefully next year, like I said, we'll get a lot more active, and I'll have 6, 7, 8 guys that will like to compete more next year, and Lane Harris is about to turn into an open fighter. And for those that don't know, your first 1 to 10 fights, you're considered a novice. You're not eligible to go to provincials or nationals. So Lane's going to open up after Fort St. John, and I got high hopes for him to do well at provincials and potentially nationals next year. So
I'm about to ask you a very silly question, because I know very little about boxing. You say open up, you mean open for people to challenge you?
Yeah, so like I said, 1 to 10 fights, you're considered a novice.
Yeah.
Once you go open as far as Boxing Canada is concerned, now you're opened up to fight anybody from up to 11 to 500 fights.
Okay.
And then at that point, you're eligible to go and try to win provincials, go to nationals, and go to Golden Gloves. You got to be an open class fighter to go to Golden Gloves and that sort of thing. So that's when the big opportunities really open up. And right now, Eddie's my only open class fighter. Lane's about to be, and Nick Young is still active, but he's living on the island now, so he'll be coming home to headline the home show. So
gotcha. All right, well, let's talk about the home show coming up. I guess it's at the end of, or kind of middle end of April. It's coming up
April 29th, Saturday, April 29th.
Yeah, so tell us a bit about that and what's going to be happening there.
Yeah, so really excited about it. It's our 10-year anniversary show. It's been a year since we did a show, and prior to that, thanks to COVID, it had been 2.5 years. So we had a long break, and last year we had a really great show, first one, like I said, in some time. So we went to the rink, and we had a really big attendance there, and it was great. And then, of course, this year with the 10-year anniversary show, I had to make some tough choices on venue. So I really like, the rink is great, and they're really great to work with down at the curling rink. They're all great people. But I really like a tighter, intimate atmosphere for these shows. It just gets the crowd more interactive. So we went back to the Pomeroy and Casino banquet room for this year. So only able to go to 500 people there. and we're almost sold out actually already.
Wow,
5 weeks out.
okay.
Yeah, I went and had a walk with the ladies there a couple days ago to see where I could fit more seats and tables and such. So, out of 50 tables, I think we got 5 left. And for this show, I didn't want to do any general admission standing seats. So we have the Montney Coolies coming into play. They're going to kick off right after the fights are done, hopefully 10:30. And they'll play for a few hours. So we got the dance floor, and so we're dealing with some different obstacles. Like I said, I wanted to do something different and a little more fun for our 10-year anniversary show. So like I said, we'll get the live band in there, and we got some fun things that we've never done before happening, just entertainment-wise. So
All right. Can I bring up the one we talked about before the show, or is
Yes.
that a surprise?
No, you can bring it up.
I heard you might plan to have like a professional wrestling match at one of the intermissions.
Yes, so we are planning a pro wrestling match. Not planning, it's happening. Knock on wood that we have no issues with it. But Mitch Clark, he's a friend of mine, trained with him off and on over the years. He actually used to come up and do some ring announcing for us at the old MMA shows, and he's a 4-time UFC veteran. He was a really good MMA fighter, fought in the UFC, and when he retired from MMA, he got into pro wrestling. So we got chatting about it, and then he found a guy, and we're going to do it at halftime. And we're just dealing with a few little obstacles. Like a boxing ring is entirely different than a wrestling ring. So, it doesn't have the padding per se and things like that. So we're just working through some of the kinks on that and how we're going to do all that. But it's happening. I'm excited about it. To best of my knowledge, there hasn't been wrestling here in like 30 years. I remember my grandfather taking me as a kid many, many years ago. And there may have been something that I don't remember since then, but to my knowledge, there's been no pro wrestling. So just something different to engage the fans and bring a little different entertainment value to the show.
Absolutely. You ever do a media challenge for boxing?
I don't know if you were here when we did the charity boxing show back in 2016, but we had Trevor Bolin versus Dan Davies, and Laurie Ackerman refereed it.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was more of a show than it was a boxing match.
I'll bet.
Trevor came out dressed as the king of the little Burger King costume,
Yeah.
or whatever, and Dan was dressed as Batman. We had some fun with it, but I wouldn't call it boxing, but
Fair enough.
but it was entertaining.
All right. Well, you said there's like few tickets perhaps left for this. If somebody wants to get in touch with you about snapping them up or saying, can I get on a wait list if you find more room for me? What can they do?
Yeah, just get at me directly. You can call me, text me, message the Facebook page, email me. Crooked Corner Clothing is going to have a few tickets. We're gonna have to open up a few general admission tickets. There's not going to be a lot, maybe 40, but you can stop by probably by end of next week. I should have some tickets in hand over there with Ashley at Crooked Corner. And then other than that, just get in touch with me. There's not a lot left to sell, so I'm just doing it all myself.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Justin, thanks so much for taking a few minutes to chat with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. That's Justin Donally, the owner and head coach of the Fivestar Boxing Academy, again celebrating their 10th anniversary this year. We'll be right back to wrap things up on Moose Talks right after this.
When you hear the term summer fun, you think about pools, beaches, and all kinds of outdoor activities. But this summer, you can have some fun indoors too, with help from Veronica's Closet. Stop in and see Veronica's selection of couples wee vibes, fleshlights for men, board games and massage candles, which are never hot enough to burn your skin. Plus new designer tanning and skin lotion, beautiful new bodysuits, wigs, and more. Veronica's Closet, your all grown up store on 93rd Avenue.
It's time to get real. Make that for real. Every Friday at your Fort St. John Co-op. On For Real Friday, enjoy a For Real shake for just $3.99. Save $1. Choose from 2 protein, 2 smoothies, and 6 different flavors. Whether you've been wanting to try one or you already love them, Friday, get For Real and save $1. Just $3.99 each. For Real Friday at your Fort St. John Co-op on 100th Street. You're at home here. Visit fsjcoop.crs.
If you're looking for work and you have a Class 1 or 3 license, CETA is hiring. CETA specializes in providing industrial maintenance, turnaround, and environmental services to the oil and gas, mining, pipeline, and other industries in Fort McMurray and throughout North America. As a Class 1 or 3 operator, you'll get steady work, great benefits, and learn new skills working in an environment where safety comes first. Work for one of Canada's best managed companies. For more info or to apply today, visit CETA.com. That's CEDA.com.
Want to learn more about wine or try a new selection?
Cheers!
Join Energeticcity.ca on April 15th at Whole Wheat and Honey for a night with Northern Lights Winery. Learn from the experts about wine tasting as well as food, live music, and more. Plus, partial proceeds will be donated to the Fort St. John Women's Resource Society. To learn more about the event or to get tickets, go to Energeticcity.ca/win.
Want to hit the lucky mark? Listen weekdays from 5:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. to play Brad's Furniture and Appliances. Hit the lucky mark, and you could win cold, hard cash. Want to be the first to know when you can play Brad's Furniture's Hit the Lucky Mark? Download the new 100.1 Moose FM app on the Apple App Store or Google Play. MooseFM.ca has all your Hit the Lucky Mark details.
Moose Country weather.
Today we're going to see a high of 3 degrees with a mix of sun and clouds. Now later today it's going to dip down to a -9 with a chance of snow. Tomorrow chance of snow carries and we're going to see a high of 3 degrees, and on Sunday cloudy skies, high of -4.
Our community first. This is Moose Talks with Dub Craig on Moose FM.
Hi, thanks to our guests today, Manavpreet Singh and Justin Donally, for stopping by. If you'd like to hear this episode again, you'll be able to listen to the podcast shortly over at Energeticcity.ca/podcast. There you'll find old episodes of Moose Talks as well as episodes of our other excellent locally produced podcasts such as Secrets of the North, Voices of the Peace, and Before the Peace. If you're sitting at your desk right now thinking, I got an hour to kill, check out Energeticcity.ca/podcast. That's the show. Trey Lopashinsky and Jordan Prentice are the producers of Moose Talks. I'm Dub Craig. Be well.
Join us next Friday at 10 a.m. for another episode of Moose Talks, a weekly talk show about Fort St. John and the North Peace.